Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome a well-known TV personality from Oslo, Norway, and I'm delighted to have him on the other side of of the camera, if I can use that term, Mr. Christian Strand. Christian,
Oh,
welcome to the show.
thank you so much, Ashutosh Garg. It's a pleasure being part of your show.
Thank you. Christian is a TV presenter. He's a podcaster. He's a former developer and is a series creator. He's a presenter and an actor in NRK and TV2. So, Christian, before we talk about television and all the things you're doing, tell me about your own journey and what took you in front of the camera.
Wow. Well, I started with TV when I was 12 years old. That was when I was having my first show here back in Norway.
Wow.
So I was sitting in my home with my mom and dad, and I was watching TV. I was 11 years old, and I was watching the TV and said, "Wow, imagine working in the TV."
Amazing.
Doing that show with the people I watch now. And then I asked my mom and dad and said, how can I become a guy that's working with TV? So one day I was reading the newspaper, the Norwegian newspaper called Aftenposten, and they were seeking young people to host youth shows.
Okay.
So I was writing this letter to them,
Okay.
and I sent them to the NRK, the Norwegian Broadcasting Company, which is the biggest company in Norway. And they asked me for an audition. So I was 12 years old. I came to this huge, big White House in Oslo, where NRK was holding their studios, and I was on an audition with 3,000 youngsters.
Wow.
And together with 4 other people, I was getting the part. So
Amazing.
I was hosting a show, and after that, I was doing a lot of commercials. I was doing other kid shows, but at the time of 18, when I was 18, I was asked to play a part in a big drama series here in Norway called the Hotel Caesar, which is a big hotel soap opera drama with a full cast.
Wow.
I know soap operas are huge in India, but this show was huge in Norway. We had approximately 1 million viewers every day. So my part was being a piccolo at the hotel with carrying suitcases and stuff. So I was taking part in 450 episodes.
Wow. Okay.
And then I jumped off that and became a TV host, having my own TV shows, live TV shows, and still are. So yeah, I've been working with TV for 22 years, and I'm 40 now. So
amazing.
Yeah, it's been all of my life, almost.
What an incredible journey. And you know, the message I get for a lot of our audience is that if you have a passion, go for it and look where you can reach, as Christian has reached. Wonderful. So Christian, now talking a little bit about television, you are in multiple formats, and yet from the television, now there are so many different digital media for channels available. How is digital media changing the television business?
Well, I think for the last 10 to 5 years, I think it has been a great change in the way we publish our content and in the way we produce our content. Since the early 2000 and 2000, from 2000 to 2010, that was the first when we started to be digitalized. We had our own, NRK had their own app, and Netflix came, and HBO came, and all the international streamers took more and more market shares. So I think the way we are changing the way we are producing is, one, the speed. I think we have to be faster in the way we publish things when it comes to to compete with the internationals.
Mhm.
And I also think we have to change the speed when it comes to what you and I want to consume every
Correct.
day.
Hmm.
So before all the internationals came and competed with Norwegian content,
Mhm.
we used more time to both develop and also to create. So I think the speed has changed when the digitalization has
Mhm.
become a huge part.
Yeah.
I think the way we publish things
Yeah.
in shorter forms, in faster forms, and I also think the way we think when we develop the content that we are producing, because from publishing linear, when you just received a lot of content when a big distributor won it, you are now in your own your own master of what you want to watch.
Correct.
So you're all you choose what you want to watch, and that makes, when I make content, I have to take that in mind, because it comes to what kind of colors you use on the front pictures. It has to do with what kind of target audience you want to reach. For instance, if you watch the picture
The banner
I'm
behind you,
having
yeah.
behind, the banner behind me, that's a podcast for a young audience from 15 to 25. So what I'm using is my own my own face with money coming up, because we wanted to reach young people that are interested in entrepreneurship and becoming millionaires.
Wow.
So that's the way you have to change the way you think and the way you produce content, because the digitalization is they want more of you all the time.
Very well said. Well said.
Yeah.
And when you are thinking of something new, and you're a creative person, how much time does it take from the time you conceive of an idea till you actually take it to the audience?
Well, that depends. That depends whether it's a podcast, or if it's a documentary series, or if it's a live show, or it's a drama. For this podcast, we started developing. It started with an idea in 2001 in the beginning, and then we started developing it with having a workshop. So we wanted to make a podcast that took young people who wanted to make money serious. So what we did, we gathered a lot of great heads, great minds, brains, to find out, okay, so how do we reach a young audience, 15 to 25 years old, with that content? So we started in 2021, and then we had the workshops, and then we did a pitch for the Norwegian broadcasting company. Would you invest in this? And it took almost a year to settle everything up, to script it, to find the cast, to find the publishing, all the ingredients. So I think for a podcast like this, 1.5 years.
Okay.
But if I make a documentary series, I'm also producing a documentary series now, and we are I think we started with the idea for two years ago.
Wow.
And we are now going in production this autumn, this fall.
Amazing. And I'm going to come to your documentary series also, because I want to ask you about it. But in the last 3-4 years, the entire viewing game has changed. And with the pandemic, it's changed completely with the arrival of the OTT platforms. And, you've been a television star, you're making movies, you acted in your own web series, you're making web series. I wanted to understand from you, how is how are the OTT platforms creating challenges for the traditional platforms?
Well, I think for the Norwegian broadcasting company, we have both. We have the traditional, which is TV and radio, and we have the OTT platform, the streaming platform, for almost the same content for sound and video. I think what have changed that we can now produce more content on the OTT platform, and we can get more information about what people are watching and what people are listening to. So I think the OTT platforms makes us to make a greater variation of our programs or our content. We can make short forms for 7 to 11 minutes in dramas, but we can also try to make like longer formats, like 2 hours of documentary series or documentaries. But in traditional TV, we have schedules. So we have like 29 minutes or 45 minutes where we had to fit in because we have prime time and we have morning shows. So and I've been for all of those schedules. But in the OTT, you can just, okay, we make a great show. If we want, we can publish it in the morning. If we want, we can publish it in the night. We can publish it on a Wednesday or a Saturday, whatever we want. And we can push it and spread it out in a different way. But what's challenging is that people need to find it. People need to go into the platform.
Correct.
If people want to listen to this podcast, they have to find it in the podcast app, or they have to go into Spotify. But in the traditional video, TV, or radio, you can just watch it wherever. And oh, that's a great show. Let me sit here for an hour eating popcorn and watch. But now you have to select.
Absolutely.
And you have to know what you are going to watch in a quite different way. So I think it's more challenging, but because you have to make content that really stand out in a different way than in the linear way or in the traditional way.
Absolutely.
So it's more demanding for us as creators to find, okay, so what do the target group, what does the group really want to watch?
Well said.
So we have to think more. And probably that's a good way as well.
Absolutely. Well said. Absolutely. Great response. And yet, and India has a very, very large market which was on one side been anchored by Bollywood and a whole lot of other movies from around the country.
Isn't Netflix looking for India now? Isn't Netflix going to, if we get India, we are going...
Absolutely. Netflix is, I'm told, putting very, very big bucks into the Indian market. But what I wanted to ask you was that we're beginning to see a lot of the senior stars like yourself now beginning to move to OTT. I remember reading articles before the pandemic and they would say, oh, we'll never be on that platform. Now, all the big guys are on it. I'd love to get your perspective. Do you see this continuing?
Yeah, I think, in both ways, I think we can see if you take Hollywood, for instance, you can see that a lot of the big stars when it comes to drama goes to Netflix and HBO and Disney and all their streaming platforms. And I think why they do that is because a lot of the development and all the creating people are searching for TV. In Norway, a lot of films are still huge distributed on cinemas. But we see that a lot of the drama series, the big drama series in Norway still are in NRK platform or the TV2 or Viasat or Viaplay and also Netflix. And we see a lot of the great stars, even if it comes to some of the one that's always been on the movie screen, going to the OTT platforms. What we are seeing in the more traditional TV is that traditional TV is doing great in Norway.
Yep.
So you can still get the 1 million people watching on a Friday night on traditional TV, and only the half of that population watching it on OTT. So I don't think that Norway has come to the same change as in Hollywood when it comes to everyone going to the OTT platform. But in a couple of years, in a couple of years, maybe we will see more creators only going to the OTT platform for,
and you'd be interested to know
exclusivity.
Yeah, and well said, because you'd be interested to know that I was watching the other day, and Norwegian series and films are now being dubbed into English and are available on Amazon Prime and Netflix, and they're being watched in India. So
cool.
Suddenly the market for Norwegian films and web series is beginning to grow. And I think that's a positive of the OTT, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I have been speaking to Netflix and HBO, and they are buying more and more Norwegian or Nordic content. And we see that a lot of dramas and documentaries from the Scandinavian are having a great audience outside the borders. So I think even if it's a local Norwegian story, it can make changes or impact in India and the US.
Yep.
So we are watching Bollywood stories outside here in Oslo. So I think it goes both ways.
It's becoming global, and for stars like you, suddenly the world is the market now. So
now I'm in India with you, and next time, I'm in Bollywood.
Absolutely. My next question to you, Christian, is that while there are huge opportunities of OTT, while on the one side television is highly regulated, OTT is not. No government has been able to figure out how to regulate OTT. What is this doing to the viewing habits of the young consumers or young viewers?
Well, I think back here in Norway, we have like 2 or 3 big national television distributors, and they are great. With the OTT platform, we are getting more international content with Netflix and HBO and Amazon. What it does to the young people is that they get more content. What is important for the Norwegian distributor on OTT platforms is that they are regulated when it comes to editorial regulations. So when, for instance, we make a documentary series about the topic, in a journalistic ways, we will have a different editorial responsibility. In Amazon or HBO or Netflix, when they make a documentary, call it, or if it's a drama on a specific topic, I think they have a different commercial way of looking into the topic. So I think I don't know when it comes to governmental restrictions, but when it comes to editorial, I think what's important for the Norwegian is that it's editorial, that someone is having the responsibility for the content that are producing and published in a different way that the international OTT platforms ever will do.
Thank you. And that's your response gives me a great segue to my next question, which is your documentary series. You said you just finished 2 years of research and are beginning to start shooting. I'm not sure if you are at liberty to talk about it, but if you are, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we are just in the beginning of that one, but I can tell you more about the one that I've already been shooting, and
Okay,
which
tell
is
me about
out
that.
in the Norwegian, that you actually can
Mm,
find
mm,
in NRK.
mm.
Um, that documentary series was about all the waste that we are, all the things that we are throwing away as waste,
Mhm.
that is actually usable.
Mm.
So the name of the show was called Sløsesjokket.
Okay.
It's, I think there were like 800,000 people watching it every
Wow.
Wednesday.
Mhm.
It was last year. And what I was doing, I was taking celebrities, Norwegian celebrities,
Mhm.
to see and to find out all the things that the Norwegians are throwing away every day,
Mm.
like
Mhm.
garbage.
Mm.
So it was a documentary series about the environment.
Mm.
So in the first episode, because Norway is a country where everyone is driving an electric car,
Yeah.
like Tesla
Mm.
or
Mm.
Nissan or whatever. But what people didn't know is that we are every year throwing away 800 cars
Wow.
that are usable.
Mm.
But because of small damages on the car, the insurance company and the manufacturer just throw it away and making it go into pieces.
Mhm.
So what I wanted to do, because I'm both a journalist and I'm a host, I wanted to change that.
Mm.
I want to go to no waste. I don't want Norwegians to waste anymore.
Yeah.
Both because it's money wasted and it's garbage and pollution.
Mm.
So I took all these five celebrities on the road to find out how can we change the way people in Norway are looking upon garbage.
Mhm.
So I made the government, the Norwegian government, to look into why they have these regulations when it comes to used parts in electric cars,
Mm.
when it comes to throwing away furniture from
Mm.
governmental housing,
Mm.
when it comes to the army, why they not use why they don't fix broken clothes and
Mhm.
shoes.
Mm.
So it made a great debate here in Norway,
Yeah.
and people really enjoyed watching the documentary series.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that was a great show that actually made an impact.
Mm. Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. And
And the
you know,
next show that I'm making now is more personal.
okay.
It's more of my story,
Yeah.
because I'm adopted from Indonesia.
Mhm.
So that's the topic, but I can't
No, no,
tell you more about
absolutely.
this now, Ashton. Maybe
Absolutely.
next time.
Whenever you're ready to launch it, we'd
Yes,
love to. I'd
yes,
love to talk to you for the Indian audience or the US
yeah,
audience.
yeah.
And my last question to you, Christian, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. You are such an amazing journey you've had in front of the television, and as a creative person, as a celebrity. What would you say are three learnings or three lessons you want our viewers and listeners to take away from your journey and from our conversation?
I think the first one, you said it already. I think it's passion.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like, oh, what's passion? I don't have passion and everything. But actually, I think passion was my and is my greatest drive in
Mm,
life.
mm,
I have had passion for entertainment, for journalism, for TV, for radio since I was 11 years old.
mm.
So, and acting. So
Yeah.
when I have this passion, when I actually feel, okay, so what can I do? Or when I wake up in the morning, I can say, okay, so what if I have the time and the capability of do something without making any money? What
Mm,
would that be?
mm,
That would be acting, hosting, radio,
mm,
talking.
mm.
Okay, so that I can do without making any money. That's the passion of
Wonderful.
me.
Yeah.
That's when I can stretch myself
Mm,
to work whenever I want, in the night, in the morning, whatever,
Yeah.
without draining myself of energy. So find your passion and be honest about it. So if you like to be a TV host or an actor,
Yeah.
go for that one. If you like to bake and make food, be honest about that. Or if you like numbers or whatever, that's your passion, go for that one.
Yeah.
So I think that's one tip. The other one is seek advice. And that's my greatest sparring partner or advisor is my dad. I ask him a lot of questions about everything. And I'm a guy that I want to talk to people that are smarter than me all the time, and he is. So ask people that even that knows more about what you are seeking. If you're wanted to go into the industry, talk to people who have made it.
Correct.
What are they doing? How did they accomplish what they accomplished? Find out what they have done. Ask them about your insecurity. Find out what you have to do. And don't be shy of taking up the phone, writing an email, sending a DM, contact people that you are looking or you find interesting. And the last one is, even though I have a podcast about money, don't make money a big part of your journey.
Yeah.
Money will come. So if you find out what you really want to do, even if you find out that it is something that you don't make any money out of, do it, because the money will come. Because if you actually get really, really great at what you are doing, people will pay you for even talk about it or doing it.
Correct.
Or whatever. So I try to not have money as a guidance of me choosing what kind of series I want to make or what kind of podcast I want to talk in. Try to put money away and then find your road. And then after you have gone with the passion and find out what you want to do, then you can try to find, okay, so what's the business model?
Yeah.
So how can I survive doing what I love?
Correct.
Okay, I have to charge more of my expertise. I have to sell more on social media. I have to whatever.
Well said.
So I think that's my three best tips.
And on that note, and your three amazing lessons, Christian, pursue your passion and be honest about it. Seek advice. And I'm so delighted you spoke about your dad. You know, it's always good to have a strong mentor. And finally, money is not everything in life. It will come as long as you're following your passion. Thank you so much.
Great summary.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for talking to me about your journey in television. I was particularly amazed at how at 11 you decided what you wanted to do. And that's really amazing clarity. Thank you for speaking to me and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.